Hello everyone, this is the demonstration of my to-do list application using React Native and Expo. So let's start by having a look at the code structure of this application first. So here you can see that I have separated my code here in three folders. I have encapsulated it into components, a storage function file, and screens. Let's have a look at the components. I have this button component here, which basically returns a button along with a custom icon and custom text. And we pass the icon and text data to it through props. Then we have this notification component, which gets displayed when a user successfully adds a new to-do. Then we have this to-do item component itself. So this item gets rendered on the main screen of the application page through a flat list. So this is the whole to-do item. We can see that it has buttons for expanding it and collapsing it. And then we have some description view based on conditional rendering. Then we have this data model folder, which has this file. So this file basically exports the relevant functions for saving and loading the data respectively. Then we have the screens, which contain the relevant view content and logic for handling inputs. We'll have a look at them later. Let's have a look at app.js. So this is the main entry, main root file of this application, and we have defined a navigation container here and two screens. We have set the entry point of this app as the home component. So let's have a look at the app. So as we can see that by default, when the app loads, we have some to-dos being displayed by default. So this is because of the async storage functionality, which allows us to persist data between different sessions. So as we can see that each to-do has also a caret icon to expand it and collapse it. And whenever we expand a to-do, we have two buttons here to mark it as done and delete it. So upon clicking the green button, the to-do is marked as done. And if I click the red button, then the to-do is deleted. And we also have a scrolling functionality for this. If the content gets too long, then we can also scroll to the screen to view to-dos efficiently and conveniently. Now let's have a look at this add new to-do screen. As we can see that it has two input fields for title and description respectively. If I click the save button without entering any inputs, nothing's gonna happen because of the input validation. But if I add a random title and some description here, then we can see a pop-up notification and we can see that item has been added to the main screen. Um, this was it about the demonstration. Now let's have a look at the logic. So our logic of this application is encapsulated in home screen and this add new to-do screen. So inside this home screen, we store the to-dos itself and we use some use effect hooks to load the data and save the data to storage. So we also have these relevant functions to add a new to-do and delete to-do respectively, which have their own logic. And we basically render the to-do items, this component here in the home screen by using this flat list component. And we have this render list function, which returns the component and passes the relevant props. In the screen, we have basically stored the to-do and all the relevant logic for adding and deleting data to it. And we also have some use effect hooks to handle storage. That's all for the screen. And for this screen, we have the relevant input fields. So we can see that this add new to-do screen has the relevant inputs for title and description description. Then we have some functions to handle click events of the save button because it has some logic for itself. And then we have these states to handle the logic for title, description, and the notifications. So for example, we have this notification trigger, which is set to true. So if it's set to true, then we display a notification for this specified duration. And similarly, I have this logic with title and description. I have used a double binding to title and description with these, so I can update and show values at the same instant. So this was all about my application logic. And to recap, I have these components here, and this new screen shows my title and description inputs. This home screen basically renders the to-do items, and it has the relevant logic to add and delete data and some use effect hooks to manage storage. So this was all about my application. Thank you.